Hey, welcome to Crankygeeks. I hope you like the polka music. I could hear it in the back. It sounds good. In fact, I think we're going to play it longer next time. We've got a great show lined up for you this week. We've got a good set of guests, too. In fact, let's get right to them immediately. Sebastian Rupley is our first and main co-crank. Again, I'm suspicious of that title. He's with PCMagcast.com, and sitting on his left is Tom Merritt, who's been with us a number of times. He's executive editor at CNET.com. Welcome, Tom. And Jen Trolio, associate producer for a website called ReadyMade. You can check it out at ReadyMade.com. It's one of those sites where you can learn how to put things together, right? Something like that, right? What is it about?
It's a site for a DIY design magazine.
DIY.
Think a cooler version of Martha Stewart.
Okay. It's a cool Martha Stewart. DIY. That's like a big deal right now. Hey, top of the news is a good story. It's just breaking. Apparently, somebody posted. There's just a series of numbers and letters that are floating around the internet that apparently crack the HD, DVD, and Blu-ray.
09, F9.
You know what it is?
Like that. It's the first couple.
That's how it starts.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it cracks somehow. I'm not even sure what the technology is that makes it work, but it cracks all these. These encrypted Blu-ray HD discs. And so somebody posted the thing on Digg, and then all heck broke loose with people, going crazy because Digg saw it as potentially, there's like this legal thing here if you post these kinds of things. It's a violation of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. In fact, somebody on my blog, one of my editors on my blog was going to post something, and he asked me beforehand whether you should do it. And I said, it's probably not a good idea. Not because you wouldn't get a lot of publicity, but it's just like if they start putting a list of people together to go after, what's the point of being on the list? Because it's just more of a hassle than it's worth. That's Dvorak.org/blog, by the way. Anyway, so the guys at Digg took the thing and they pulled it off because they were freaky.
Well, they got a takedown notice, didn't they?
Did they?
I think
there's
they did,
a mention
yeah.
of a cease and desist.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Who did they get the cease and desist from, though?
They did not name who did that, but they think it's the AACS people. The AACS is the name of the code that.
Don't you think it'd be worthwhile to let us know who was telling them to do this? Because it's already been known that people are just sending these things out randomly. Yeah. I mean, I could send one to CNET. Take down this story.
Well, what was interesting is they took down one of the posts that had it in there, and then almost immediately someone else put it back up because the thing is available all over the internet.
Yeah, it's
the issue here is that it went on Digg, and it's high profile place, so they were not happy with it.
Right, and then you have a whole flame war going on now. Kevin, prove you're a man and apologize for the censorship. These are the kind of posts that they're getting. Story about a hex that is lonely and sad. Spread the codex. Digg banned me for typing a number, and there's
my favorite
thousands of people
was
commenting.
the guy who linked to an RGB representation of the hex code, just the colors.
One step away from going across the line.
Did he get busted?
No, it was still up there last night anyway.
So this is the code, by the way, if you want to see it. And you have to do. Good luck on getting it.
Frame grab.
It's not difficult to find.
No, it's easy to find.
It's still up all over
now
the place.
than it was 2 days ago because they gave the cease and desist to Digg.
So what do you think this means? Anybody have a clue? I mean,
well, it's almost like they're going. It's like they're going after Digg as a matter of principle.
Well, forget the Digg thing. But what about this code going around? I mean, is there anybody putting some software together to allow you? I mean, these things come up for the obvious reason people want to watch stuff on their laptops. I mean, that's what it really amounts to. It's not because people want to copy Blu-ray discs. Because what are you going to copy them with?
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to spend thousands of dollars for a burner to steal a movie?
But why is it so easy to hack into these things anyway? It should be much less easy to hack that.
This one took a while for somebody to crack.
Yeah, a couple
it wasn't
months.
The easiest, but the guy wanted to put it on his laptop, exactly. So he figured out the code, and Digg has actually said they're not gonna take down any more links to it. 9 p.m. last night, Kevin posted a blog posting, said, "Forget it. We're not gonna fight this anymore. If we go down with it, so be it."
And the code is in the headline of that blog post.
And that was it. And now your Digg is back to normal. There's no more of the stuff. So as soon as they stopped trying to remove it, it went away.
So there's right, because who cares?
Yeah.
So what's the anyway? This was for, I'm being told this is for the HD, not the Blu-ray.
HD DVD.
Yeah. I actually, when I first heard about this codec crack, I thought it was somehow working with both of them. But anyway, what does this mean to anybody else? I mean, I don't know that there's any software out there or anything that utilizes it currently. I think this is just a hack.
Well, there's a website that shows you how to utilize that code to break the encryption.
What's the URL, do you know?
No, I don't, actually. I wish I did.
I actually Googled this morning looking for that,
Digg.
saying, how do I use this? And didn't come up with a whole lot.
Yeah,
The question,
It's not easy to find.
The question Kevin poses in his rebuttal to all this, though, saying that they're going to leave it up, is, should we be held responsible for people who are putting this out there? Do we have the forest where the pirates are, or are we associated with the pirates? And I actually think, like in precedent cases, if you look at Amazon, for example, there have been cases brought where people who do the book reviews on Amazon, get into defamation and stuff like that. And Amazon has won those. They're not responsible for what you say in a book review. They can't police what your words are. So it's kind of the same.
But
with
you can
this,
still go after
but
you can still track down the poster and go after them.
Yeah. So the issue here is who is eventually going to be held accountable? Is it going to be the people posting that code or Digg? I don't think it should be Digg.
No, it should be the people posting the code.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even think the code.
But now it's the code's public domain.
How to use the code maybe should be illegal, but just
I don't think none of this should be illegal. It's ridiculous. This is just science.
Yeah.
All right, we'll skip that. But talking about Blu-ray, Sony is in the news again with this idiotic story that was picked up by the Daily Mirror out of London, where apparently they had a party, and as part of the party to roll out one of their games, God of War 2. And at the party to celebrate the game, they had a dead, decapitated goat filled with food that people could reach in through the goat head hole and grab, gummy bears or whatever was in there.
What was hilarious was how people exaggerated this, though. The early reports that came out said people were pulling the entrails of the goat and eating them raw with steam coming off them, and it's actually just like some pre-canned food in there. It's just.
I got an email from one listener to Buzz Out Loud who said that this is typical to find goats like this in Greece, where they were having this party.
They actually left out a lot of the details, like the party was in Greece, where they do this with their goats. And so, it's probably a Greek that put the party together, but this is an example of Sony's, kind of boneheaded bumbling that they're doing. We're going to get back to more of this kind of story with more boneheads out there right after this message.
For 25 years, PC Magazine has brought you the best in technology information and the most useful hands-on computer reviews anywhere. But the most trusted source in computing isn't just about computers anymore. Our industry-leading labs have helped you buy the best computers since 1982, and now we lead the way in HD TVs, MP3 players, digital photography, cell phones, software, and much more. Today, we're better than ever. PC Magazine. We love technology as much as you
do. Want to know what's new now? Then join Jim Louderback and Patrick Norton as they tackle the latest technology news. They'll keep you informed with their weekly What's New Now podcast. Just go to what'snewnow.com and subscribe, or subscribe through iTunes.
During the break, my producer came over and pointed something else out about this Digg story, which is that Kevin wrote this letter to the community saying that they're going to let the thing go, and he says, and with this dramatic ending, if we lose, then what the hell? At least we died trying. Please.
Shakespearean.
Stolen phone racks up $25,000, $26,000 bill. AT&T says pay up or file for bankruptcy. Apparently some woman was on a plane or something coming back from somewhere and lost her phone. Somebody picked it up and then racked up a bill of $26,000. She bitched about the fact that the phone was stolen and this was unfair. And the phone company just said, well, if it's too much and you can't pay it, you should just file for bankruptcy, which of course is a great publicity stunt for Singular.
The new AT&T.
The new AT&T, right.
She produced receipts and everything showing that her plane flights and that she was overseas. So it was totally obvious that the phone was stolen, and AT&T still came back and said, you need to file for bankruptcy. What is up with that? That is bad PR.
Well, besides being bad PR, it's like, for one thing, how do you get a bill like that? I mean,
that's a good question. I mean, did the person who steal it just constantly surf the web on it, or send text messages?
Call into Russia, China. Hello, anybody. I'll talk to anybody. I got a free phone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you can rack a bill up like that. And
how long was she gone?
A couple weeks, right?
I think that the courts have to jump in on some of these things in these situations and just determine what was the actual loss to AT&T. Yeah, make her responsible for the actual real loss. Have them come up with a spreadsheet. So how much did this calls really cost? And then make the woman pay. It'll be $100 or something like that. Because what does a call to China really cost in the scheme of things if you boil it down to the true cost?
Not what they charge you, but what it actually costs.
Well, I mean, why don't they follow the thing you do with a credit card? If your credit card is stolen and somebody uses it to rack up a bunch of charges, you're not responsible for it. They try to go after the person.
Yeah, well, they don't want to do
it.
that for obvious reasons. They don't want everybody blaming it on somebody else, and then they can't collect these big charges.
It works for
they
credit
want
card
the
companies,
26. I know, but the credit card companies get their money by charging everybody 18 to 25% interest, and they use the stolen cards as an excuse. They say, "Look, you're going to have all these stolen cards, and that's why these interest rates are so high because we're kind of covering for you guys. It's like insurance."
Well, it's not like the cell phones are cheap, though. I mean, they're already charging us out.
They like the idea of charging people $26,000. That's the way I see it. Anyway, they also makes them look tough. AT&T loses a patent fight with Microsoft. Has anyone followed this? You have.
Yeah, actually, this was an interesting case because AT&T was going after Microsoft for damages pertaining to every Windows PC shipped outside the United States because they claimed they had a patent on certain kinds of speech-related code that was in there. And the court sided with Microsoft. I got to agree with the court on this. I mean, that would have
they didn't cite him for that reason, though. The reason, there was a more complicated rationale, which was that they're not shipping it directly. That's being installed overseas, and the patent protection doesn't apply.
Right. Well, this is the second piece of bad PR in a row that we're talking about with AT&T. I mean, they were obviously going for a big win because of the damages pertaining to every Windows PC. Think of how many computers that is. I think the court was completely right. It should not.
Well, but they lost the case because they said patent law doesn't extend outside the U.S.
Right. It's U.S. patent law. It should not extend.
Why weren't they suing for violation within the U.S.? Was it a different patent or something? Or?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer.
Yeah,
to that.
I couldn't find anything on that.
They may still be suing for that. But Microsoft faces other suits like the one overseas where people say that patent law does extend overseas. So this one kind of gives them some protection.
Well, it depends on the treaties
cases
that these countries have.
Yeah.
It's a complicated issue. In fact, there's a new one. There's also the more interesting case, which we don't cover today, but maybe we will next week, which is where the courts have decided that some of these little dinky patents that are if I patent this and then somebody comes along and patents this, which is the same thing.
Excruciatingly obvious is the legal term that they used in the decision.
Right.
I love that.
And that case is interesting because it may actually stop some of these crazy patents that are being filed on a daily basis. And the one that always gets me is the so-called blocking patent, which is the most onerous of a style of patent, which is that, and the way these work is you're an engineer. Smart engineers can do this. I know a number of them, but we're talking about the really heavy-duty guys.
Yeah.
They can see a patent, they go, that's interesting. If you do this and patent that, they won't be able to do anything else with this patent because it'll be blocked.
Yeah. Well, the word that Tom used, obvious, is actually very key to patent law. How obvious is what you've invented? If it's extremely obvious and just, pedestrian, then it's hard to get a patent in the first place on something like that.
Because they say that anybody could just walk up and do that.
Yeah.
But it's not. There have been some pretty excruciatingly obvious patents that have been
swing
granted.
set was granted once. Somebody made a swing set with a rubber tire on it or something. They got a patent. Anyway, it's a nutty world. BBC TV's catch-up player. BBC is implementing an iPlayer that lets viewers download recent TV episodes. This is a version of IPTV? It seems obvious. This is obvious. That you can do this. Is this going to make any difference? Because now I understand that TiVo, for example, can download this show. You can get it on the TiVo system, and you can watch Crankygeeks on your regular television.
Oh, is that right?
Well, that's what I'm told. I haven't seen it.
That could be the future. We've had this argument several times on the show about the future of what IPTV is. That kind of thing right there could change the landscape.
It makes a difference
for these internet-delivered shows.
I think a lot of people would rather watch us on a regular TV than
on a little tiny screen.
Sure, having it limited to the computer really, really hurts the size of the audience.
Well, yeah, that's why Apple has got that ridiculous little Apple TV, which I bought, because it was an easy way for me to put my iTunes videos, podcasts mostly, up on the television without having to plug the stupid
So what's your
wires
chief
in there.
complaint on that so far?
I spent $300
Tiny
on it.
hard disk?
How do they
Well, I haven't filled up the hard disk yet because of the way I sync it. I just have it put the newest podcasts on and take the old ones off. So I haven't filled up the hard drive yet that way because I'm not trying to buy their expensive movies and put it on there. But yeah, my chief complaint is that I had to spend $300 for it. It works great for just like taking stuff and streaming it. I can stream it off of the different laptops we have in the house, and yeah. I like it. But
So you actually stream it then?
yeah, I do both. I have some stuff stored on there, and then my wife has a Mac, and we stream it off of hers.
Well, to pay for our TiVo deal, we have to take a break right now for this commercial message.
Can't get enough video gaming in your life? Check out Electronic Gaming Monthly, your #1 source to the wonderful world of video games. It's filled with in-depth features, exclusive previews, and our world-famous no-holds-barred 3-person reviews. EGM has it all. Just surf on over to egm.oneup.com to subscribe. Need even more? Tune into our weekly podcast, EGM Live, available at egmlive.oneup.com or the iTunes Music Store.
Hi! I'm encased in orange gelatin, but with Windows Mobile, I can still get my Outlook email. This place is dirty.
Here's a breakthrough story. Blogger accredited by UN. Matthew Lee is the only blogger accredited by the UN. Lee posts his findings on innercitypress.com. Lee is one of 200 full-time resident correspondents at the UN. There was one other blogger at the UN, but he was ejected for asking too many superfluous questions, which, it sounds like a blogger to me. Should other bloggers be issued press credentials? I mean, how do they even know he's blogging? Most of the stuff is transparent. I mean, you could be sitting anywhere and be blogging because it's all, if you're hooked to a network.
Yeah, you could actually argue that this kind of trend is bad for bloggers in the long run, though, because the more bloggers get treated like journalists in the long run, the more they're going to have to observe the rules that journalists observe.
Right, we don't want that.
Not releasing product information.
We don't want any of that, that's for sure.
In advance.
We just want the Wild West.
Yeah, we want the bloggers to be the Wild West. That's where all the interesting stuff goes on. And they currently the courts have pretty much supported them on saying they're not journalists. They have the right to gossip. They can gossip about a product that hasn't been announced yet if they have gossip about it and not be prosecuted. So I would hope to see
So it sounds like they're Uber journalists the way you describe it. They can go beyond. They don't even
can
have
do
any
anything they
restrictions.
want.
I have this problem with categorizing bloggers by their platform technology. I mean, blogging is just the ability to put some words in some forms and have it easily
And
published.
publish it.
There are bloggers who are definitely journalists, John Dvorak.org/blog,
right.
for instance. And then there are bloggers who are never even going to pretend to be journalists. They wouldn't want to be.
Well, there's a lot of
accredited or
diarists
anything
that
like
call themselves bloggers.
And they shouldn't be subject to the same
Right.
rules. So I think you identify a journalist based on what they're doing, not because they use a particular technology.
Well, look at those guys over at
Wait, let's stop there. Talk about beating a dead horse with this concept of yours, because believe me, I have gone through this trying to separate. There's these kinds of blogs and that kind of blog, and there's this a real blog and that's a real blog. That's not a real blog. But the fact is they're all using essentially content management systems of a low order, and they're publishing on the internet. And if they want to call themselves bloggers, they can. But some people can also say we're not bloggers. We're just using content management system. I mean, DealBook in the New York Times, for example, is a WordPress blog software that creates. It's not a true blog by any means, and I don't think the guy calls himself a blogger, the guy who does it. But it's a blog. But he's not a blog because he's not a blogger. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm
It's
just
just a
saying.
meaningless term, I think. There's journalists and there's not journalists.
Well, look at what some of these bloggers
Diarists.
pull off, though. Like the guys at Think Secret, they've been sued by Apple. And I swear, if you go out there and look at their rumors that they have, they are almost always right, like 90% accuracy. So
Maybe the lawsuit was a smokescreen for the fact that they're stooges for Apple.
Yeah, they
Is that
they
possible?
have deeply placed moles out there.
Could be.
Well, there's lots of people that have gotten fired, though, because of their blogs. from
Yeah.
their-
And they're not journalists.
And they're not journalists.
There's a lot of journalists that.
And then they
publishers
earn
don't
more
like
blogging fame that way.
There you go.
That just
Maybe it
catapults
works out.
them to be able to do blogging full
So have you
time,
done
and that's all they
blogging?
do.
You're a blogger? Do you consider yourself a blogger?
I do.
What's your blog?
ReadyMadeMag.com.
Oh, that's so.
Yeah.
Wait, ReadyMade Mag. What does mag mean?
magazine.
Well, how's that a blog?
ReadyMade magazine.
See, that's right to Tom's point.
I don't really see how.
It was absolutely on the money to Tom's point. Chileans were aghast to learn that O'Higgins Village has been placed in Argentina by Google Earth. What a horrible situation. The town is named after Chilean independence hero. Well, I guess there's some humor there. A foreign ministry spokesman in San Diego says Chile wants the village back as soon as possible. These people think that, like, when they watch a movie that there's people up there? I mean, what are they thinking? This is just a Google map.
Well, they're recognizing the power of Google to dictate truth. If Google Maps says it's the way it is, then everyone has to follow it.
And there was another story today, I think in Russia, they put a pretty popular curse word up on a roof somewhere to try and get it on.
Google Earth? Good
The
one.
trouble is they don't realize that Google satellite, they take an image about once every 5 years.
I like that idea.
I still have, like, I look down at my house thing, and there's still like a big empty lot where a Target's been for, like, decades.
The story compared it to the popularity of the F-bomb.
I like the idea of putting stuff on rooftops. I've always thought that, for example, with somebody that pointed out to me that this happened over the last weekend too. I'm not a big NASCAR watcher, but these cars flip over. Where's the advertising? All you see is the bottom of a car. They should be plastered with Valvoline ads. I just,
Maybe something less flammable.
So I think we should start putting stuff up. So it's a great idea. I'm going to cover the roof of my house with a bunch of promotions. Matthew Lee, what? Matthew Lee, well, we already did that one. Barbie, MP3 girl. 48-year-old Barbie's undergoing a facelift in an effort to reestablish market share. Mattel's launching a doll-shaped MP3 player. Looks like Barbie, I guess. The MP3 player hooks up with the Barbie girl's website. There it is. Oh, yeah, that's a beauty.
Oh, yeah.
The kids can interact, shop, download music, or do what most kids will do, which is throw the thing in the garbage. Anybody have a comment on this? No, I wouldn't think so.
No, I think girls are going to go for the pink iPods before they go for the Barbie.
The pink iPods?
They'll just go for the little pink shuffle.
Girls still like Barbie, though. My daughters liked Barbie.
Yeah, they do for a little while.
I used to trip over the Barbies on the stairs. They leave them on the stairs,
And if they would just keep them in pristine shape in the original boxes, but you can't seem to teach these girls to do that. I don't know what the deal is.
I know. Ken, on the other hand, has gone way down in popularity. I don't know anybody who owns Ken.
Ken
and Barbie broke up.
Oh, they did.
That was a news story that Mattel put out a few years ago. It's probably almost 5 years ago now.
Oh, really?
And now she's dating Blaine, a
Well,
surfer.
Blaine.
Oh, I've heard about this. Well, anyway, we have to break up for a commercial message. We'll be right back.
It's like a fish tank in there. It's sloshing around.
What's the best deal on an HD TV? How about the best free software for your PC? Websites that make you go wow? Interviews with some of the most interesting folks in tech. The irreverent geeks on the DLTV crew blend your tech questions with product reviews and hands-on help that tames technology. Every Tuesday and Thursday, just type DL.TV in your browser and get your geek on.
I think you just officially overshared.
Looking for a gadget guide?
Freeze.
Log on to gearlog.com.
Right on.
Gearlog's got tech news and reviews, roller skating robots, iPod toilet paper holders, and hacker-proof passport wallets. Gearlog.com, the gadget log for geeks, by geeks.
You dig it?
Hey, welcome back to Cranky Geeks. We got a good show going for you today. 12 nations are put on the copyright piracy list. Does anybody follow this? I mean, copyright piracy list. I mean, like only 12 nations?
Yeah, but the surprising thing is some of them that are on there are Lebanon, Israel.
Really,
would you think that those would be on that
I
list?
wouldn't think Israel would be, but I guess they are. Lebanon could be. Why not?
Piracy.
Well, it's not a hotbed.
I wouldn't think of it as a hotbed of piracy. Most of the piracy goes on Russia, China, Malaysia.
Well, there's a lot of it in Eastern Europe, and a lot of these countries weren't mentioned.
Ohio University.
Yeah, I'll give you the 12 nations on the priority watch list, whichever, priority watch list. China, Russia, Israel, Argentina, Chile, Egypt, India, Lebanon, Thailand, Turkey, Ukraine, and Venezuela. Go back to PC Magazine and look at my old column on the nexus of piracy. Yeah. It's actually Malaysia. and the Indonesian area, and the islands mostly, and that's where most of the piracy comes from. They're not even mentioned. So.
Did you hear about this? Was it Ohio University a little while ago where the students had access to Internet 2, which is like 50 million times faster than the regular Internet?
Not quite
and
that
they
fast,
downloaded like every song that was ever written. Did you hear about that? They did, and then the RIA came after them.
They were number one on the list of pirates, but I didn't hear that was one.
What was the total download size?
I don't know. They downloaded.
Oh, that would be interesting, don't you think?
They downloaded like 3 million songs or something. It was unbelievable.
That's got to be that's got to be numerous terabytes.
But I talked to the CEO of
They don't
Internet.
have much else to do in Athens, Ohio.
I talked to the CEO of Internet 2.
How did they get caught?
I grew up in Cleveland. Big Ohio State fan. OU is.
Cleveland, yeah. Lake Effect Snow, that's all I remember.
The CEO of Internet 2 predicted that in the future this kind of copyright infringement is just going to totally shake up everything, because the way we think we're protecting copyrights now is just going to be blown out of the water when people have such fast access that when they do go to download
every song ever
they
done,
just get everything.
Wow. Okay.
Interesting that Argentina and Chile were on that piracy list when they're also fighting Google over the towns.
Yeah.
I suspect something is going
I doubt
on
it. Student denied teaching degree because of a MySpace photo. Do we have that photo? There's the photo. This woman was a student, and she wrote she blogged herself on the MySpace blog, essentially, and put this picture of herself up with the title "Drunken Pirate," just kind of humorous. And it's a pretty funny picture. Just a girl taking a swig from a cup of, could be anything, right? So the school, sticks it to her, and she doesn't get her teaching degree because of some inappropriateness. Does anybody find this a little offensive?
Yeah, I don't know how they can do that. I don't know what authority they have to say your MySpace page makes you unqualified for this degree you've just worked for.
Yeah, I was wondering.
It should make you more qualified, it seems to me. I mean, seriously.
You're in touch with what the kids are doing.
Exactly.
Even if there was some character requirement, that's not very compelling evidence that she's, leading the youth of America astray because she has a plastic cup up to her mouth. She doesn't even look drunk. I've seen much worse pictures.
She probably
of people
wasn't drunk. She just titled it that way because she thought it was funny.
Joke.
Yeah.
But the funnier part is that she's suing the school for $75,000, which is like, come on, lady, get a clue. This is a reason for not giving her the degree. She should be suing for like $75 million and trying to walk away with a couple $100,000. That's the way we do it in America. For all you, we have a lot of overseas viewers. They have to understand how our
and
that is how we do it.
When you consider the Teach for America program, which certifies, just out of college students that are probably way worse on MySpace than that lady.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And she's going to school, trying to get the degree.
They gave her a degree in English as a kind of a fallback.
As a punishment.
As a punishment, yeah.
Right.
Now you have to become a journalist.
No, English. My degree's in English. What will I do? You'll never get a job, lady. Rabbit ears are back in action because apparently it says it makes HD content look better. I happen to follow this since the beginning because I'm a big fan of over-the-air HD because the quality is outstanding. Yeah. But you don't want rabbit ears to work on one or two of the channels, and that particular set of rabbit ears is not worth it. Let me tell you right now. And what you really want to get is a UHF antenna. You don't even need rabbit ears. You can get a bow tie about so big, and it will pick up these channels. But if you get a fringe antenna, one of the good ones, they're only $30, and they're about so big. You can pick up Sacramento from San Francisco if you aim it.
Well, I think a lot of people out there assume that there isn't much over-the-air HD out there, but on a local basis, the local channels almost all do over-the-air HD, and it's better quality than what the HD you get from cable and satellite and all that.
Because it's not compressed. Now the thing about it is that right now in the San Francisco Bay Area, because I just ran a scan because I look at over-the-air HD, and there's like 36 broadcasters.
Sure, yeah.
And they all multiplex too. Like there's 6 PBS channels or something, I think.
5.
Is there 5?
Yeah, I think
and then when they're showing baseball games on Fox on the weekend, you can watch a different one on one of the multiplex versions of Fox. They run them simultaneously, so you don't get blacked out of other games. You can actually choose which one you want. So there's some cool stuff. Problem is, my apartment faces exactly away from all the signals. So even with a good antenna that I used to use in my old place that picked up everything, I can't get anything.
You can't get to the roof?
So that's the thing.
You might be surprised. I've noticed that with my fringe antenna, I keep wanting to put it on the roof, but I actually have it in a room in this kind of buried in the bottom of the house, and it goes through 5 or 6 walls and still hits the.
This reminds me of the old days when someone would go over there to fix the antenna, and then you say, "Okay, it looks good. Stay right there."
Walk away, and it goes right back.
Sit there and walk away. It looks terrible.
Yeah, well, you should probably just get a motor, put it on the roof, and then you can spin it around.
Well, because the annoying thing is when it doesn't come in, it just goes black. So you don't even get like the ghostly image that you can follow.
I get pixel blocks.
Yeah, you get the pixel blocks. Yeah.
Anyway, well, that's the end of our Pixel Blocks for this week. I want to thank our guests for being with us. I'm John C. Dvorak. You've been watching Crankygeeks. Hope to see you again next week.
Thank you.